Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you another one of my FIFA 14 formation tutorials. Now today's tutorial covers the 4-3-2-1 formation, and that sets up an ultimate team with a goalkeeper, a right back, two centre backs and a left back, three central midfielders, a right and a left forward, and a striker. Now, this is a formation I've been experimenting with on Ultimate Team for about a month to a month and a half, and I have to say it's a formation I really enjoy playing with. And it's because it has several very easy to understand and exploitable strengths. The great thing about this formation, starting off with its number one strength, is it is a very powerful midfield formation, and it's so true, both in real football and in Ultimate Team, that whoever wins that midfield battle has a huge chance to take the ball and express themselves in the game and move up the field and eventually win the match. And this is definitely the case this formation. Having three central midfielders in that middle of the park means you are very rarely outnumbered, and it enables you to get the ball down and spray the play and really control the play throughout. Another really good thing with this formation is you have a lot of support for your central striker. Not only do you have these three central midfielders who can get up and down and support the attack, but you have two quite narrow forwards, the right forward and the left forward, who basically cut inside and they give a lot of close support for that striker. And you see some formations with a very isolated front striker. Think of 4-5-1 for example. The striker has to do a lot on his own while he's waiting for that support to arrive. But the great thing with 4-3-2-1 is your striker is up there, and if he gets the ball, he can bring it down and immediately have two teammates either side of him to launch a fast break or to put a guy through. And this means you are always a threat on the counter-attack, because it doesn't matter how many players you try and bring back to defend, you will always have a threat going forward which can be exploited very quickly. So that's another huge strength of this formation. Another great thing is this formation suits attacking fullbacks really well, because you have those three central midfielders in, and what this sort of does is create a vacuum. This formation is absolutely fantastic at pulling all of your opponent's players to the middle of the field to try and deal with all of these central midfielders you have. And what that normally does is create a lot of space wide. So if you have a lot of fullbacks who like to get forward, it's a great formation to exploit that, because as your opponent gets drawn into the middle of the field, all it takes is one pass out wide to stretch the play, and you can pull your opponent around the field very nicely if you have good adventurous fullbacks. However, this formation isn't all powerful. It certainly does have a few areas where it is weak, and the first one is sort of tied into the fullbacks here, is that this formation really lacks natural width. Now, you see some formations like the 4-3-3 variations or 3-5-2, which have proper traditional wide players, chalk on your boots wingers who stay on the touchline and stretch the play naturally for you. It's a lot more contrived and awkward with 4-3-2-1 to get this width. You have to consistently bring your fullbacks into play. And what this means is you don't have the width when you need it all the time. Sometimes it takes a good passing move to bring that fullback up the field, or to get him in a position which is advanced enough for him to be useful. So if you're a person who likes to put a lot of crosses in, you're going to be struggling a little bit with this formation, because whilst you do have three players up the field, like I mentioned earlier, these are right forwards and left forwards. They're not traditional wingers. They are much more likely to drift in field, and while this is very useful to give support to your central striker, it takes them a little bit of time to pull wide and put a cross into the box. So that is one slight weakness with this formation. Another thing which is very important to note is 4-3-2-1 requires a very mobile central midfield, because all three of these guys are normal central midfielders. There's no CDM and there's no central attacking midfielder in this formation. So that means these three players have to do it all. They have to get up and support the attack, and then they have to come back and defend. And the problem with this is you get a lot of midfielders who either tire out quickly in this formation or just get caught out of position. It's very prone to a counter-attack because it doesn't have that natural sitting player, and because it's quite a regimented straight three in midfield, if you begin to get players forward and then lose the ball, there's no one sitting there to defend, and it does take a little bit of time to get forward. So this is a formation which definitely relies on accurate passing and execution of attacking maneuvers. You either have to be very direct or you have to pass well to make this formation to work. But this is one of the reasons why I enjoy this formation so much. It does have its limitations, but if you can get the play style working effectively, it is very, very hard to stop, because it does have a lot of exploitable strengths. Very, very dominant in midfield, as long as you appreciate where your midfielders have to be in their positioning. It does have width with the fullbacks, as long as you can integrate them into your attack well enough. And when you get the ball forward, you always can overload a specific point of your opponent's defence, because you have 3 players up there who are very, very central a lot of the time. And so a lot of the time, you can isolate an opponent's centre-back, play a nice little 1-2, or drag a fullback out of position to perhaps free up a little bit more space for your fullback to overlap, or get a midfielder up the pitch. So it definitely requires a nice, unique playstyle to use this formation, but if you can get that playstyle down, you can really dominate opponents. So guys, thank you so much for listening to the video. I hope this has provided you with a little bit of an educational overview on how to effectively use this formation. It's a formation I don't see too much in Ultimate Team, and I think that's a little bit of a shame, because so many players go for the same old formations, the 5 at the back, or the very, very direct 4-3-3 where they just play long ball, but there are a host of good options out there for you to experiment with. So I hope you check this out. Once again, thank you so much for watching the video, and as always, have a great day.